He was second last night in the A main. He's joined in that row by Miles Cook, the second in car 18C. Row 4 has Mike Petoskey in car M20 and the 101 of Hunter Feltner. Rounding out the field as all cars are present, that will be the car number 4 of Mike Halliday. Cars will follow a line behind the pace truck, but no longer now, as the field is in the responsibility of Jesse Strange and Chris Wilson, as they will get this race started. If the starter likes it, it stays green. If the starter doesn't, the yellow will come out. Cars have problems during the race. They can turn into the infield. They'll exit off turn 1 when it's over, but it's starting now. Green flag. Chris Wilson takes the early lead as problems for Jesse Strange up the track. Hunter Feltner going to make a move from the back of the field. David Poling goes up into second spot. Brad DeYoung from 5th into 3rd. Drivers staying pretty much single file here, trying to make tread way where they can. Here is the 20 of Mike Petoskey. Started back on the inside of the 4th row, is now running up in 4th. Problem for Strange in the E85. He goes from the front row all the way back to the next to last position. Meanwhile, Chris Wilson cannot get away from the 88. They're staying pretty evenly matched as they go around this racetrack. Wilson looking to get into his first A main since the format change yesterday. Petoskey now locked up in a battle with Turner. Turner running 5th. Turner sat on the pole last night for the 25-lap A main. Halfway through this one, your leader continues to be the car 17 of Chris Wilson. Second is David Poling. These two drivers looking to make their first A main since the format changed yesterday. They're running strong in this first heat event. Now the top 2 cars are beginning to go away. Mike Petoskey in the 20 will challenge DeYoung for the 3rd position. Field sees 2 laps to go this time through. It's the white flag for Chris Wilson. Four drivers in this field made the A main, but they were not the first 2 cars that come across the finish line. The winner is Chris Wilson, second to David Poling. Some of the drivers who did not have to experience the B features last night will get a taste of what it was like, as only the top 2 are going to qualify. Second place, David Poling, and your winner, Chris Wilson. Heat race number 1 is done. Heat number 2 waiting to come on in. We'll be back with more from East Bay in just a moment. Expecting 9 cars on the grid right now. We only have 5 of those 9 who are coming out here for the action for heat race number 2. See if more drivers are going to be able to get here. Right now, who we have on the racetrack, Zachary Hawk in the 54H with the 2 car of Devin Dixon. the 10X of Billy Updegraff, the car number 64 of Austin Sanders, and the 43J of Jacob Hall. We are still missing the 5 of Bobby Bagley, who did not compete in his heat race last night. Also, Dalton Lane in car 14L. We saw some smoke trailing from that car earlier. The 1W of Brian Wilburn and the 119 of Josh Sigler. If they're not able to make the call, they'll be listed as DNSs, and we'll start deep in the 12 lap B mains. There'll be more than 12 cars in the B mains. So the officials down in the staging area chasing around to make sure somebody didn't get accidentally mixed up into the third group of cars, give them the chance to get out onto the racetrack. 2 of these cars last night were in the A feature. Your outside pole sitter, Devin Dixon, finished 5th in his first night of competition this week. And the 64 car of Austin Sanders going strong till the end, had to bow out, ended up getting credited with 23rd. Take a look at that race car. You see nice work done there. Austin's 15-year-old son, Gage, is the one who did all the metal work, cut all the metal, put the body on there by himself. Nice looking race car on the 64. It's time to get things going. Just 5 cars to contest this one. Hawk and Dixon will have the responsibility, and they'll take it to the starting point. On the outside, challenge for second from the 64. Meanwhile, Hawk keeps the bottom. He'll settle second, chasing after your race leader, Devin Dixon, in the 2 car. Dixon up to the middle of the racetrack. Sanders still committing to the top side. Pulls right up behind Hawk. Now sees an inside opening in turn 3. It closes quickly, but he still has the point there as Updegraff in the 10 and the 43J of Hall chase after those 3, leading the way. Sanders trying to think about where the best spot might be to make that pass. Hawk is holding his line on the bottom. Zachary Hawk would like to make his first A main if he could. Sanders trying to get back into it after last night's run without having to go to a B feature. Now Sanders with a good run as they entered into turn 1. He'll keep that momentum up on the high side off of turn 2 and find his way up front over the 54, while your leader is Devin Dixon in car 2. Hawk back to the bottom, not quite this time. Sanders going to bring it down in the middle of the racetrack and still shoot off of the second turn. 2 laps remain this time by for your race leader, Devin Dixon, in car 2. Devin Dixon finding this track to his liking as he's got that fast pace for the 2 car. White flag comes out. Back to back, he'll go into the A main. He had a 5th last night. Can he do better? He'll find out soon. Checkered flag for Devin Dixon. Second will be Austin Sanders, driver of the car number 64. So the remaining 3 cars will be relegated to a 12-lap B main. Moving on to the A main, second place Austin Sanders, your winner, Devin Dixon in car 2. That completes heat race number 2. More from East Bay in just a moment. Field begins to move around the racetrack behind the East Bay Raceway Park pace truck as they line up like this. Tuesday night feature winner Cole Charneski from Denmark, Wisconsin will be on the pole this one. Finished third last night. Another top 10 finisher right beside him, the 8 car of Jimmy Lennox. He finished 8th. Second row, also 2 drivers made the A main. The 11R of Jeremy Rayburn finished 9th, and the 12 car of Jeff Parsons took home a 13th. Rest of the field, Jason Russell starts 5th. Outside of him, Corey Balke in the 9. The 16H of Justin Hart goes on the inside of the 14 of Skylar Douglas. And the non-qualified car 99J of Treb Jacoby will round out in the 9th and final starting spot. Lennox to the bottom, taking a look-see on Charneski as they go down the backside. He's got position established into turn 3. He'll take the bottom look. So if he can rock it off and have the lead this time by, it's a close one indeed. Lennox now sliding back. Charneski will have that high side run off turn 2. Balke in the 9 car into the wall in turn 2. And it looks like Charneski has settled himself up on the high side. Rayburn giving chase third. 4th spot is Parsons. There's no room for everybody to make it into the A main through the heats. Lennox just kind of settled in right now. Looked like Lennox had an opportunity to close up a little bit. They start to distance themselves from the 11R of Rayburn. Here comes Lennox. Lennox locked in on the bottom. Charneski has to think about that fact. Lennox is going to get a run into turn 3 and keep that hammer down into 4. Problems in turn 3, 1 car into the wall. Looks like the 9 of Corey Balke into the wall in turn 3, and caution is going to wave. Lennox making that race interesting as he got back down to the bottom and gained a little ground on Cole Charneski's car 21. Field going to line up quickly. Lennox pulls up, but he's going to take the inside look as we get help on the way to the Corey Balke car 9. Looks like the wrecker going to be making his way up there. Push truck driver pushing the car down into the groove, thinks he can do the job necessary without involving the wrecker. As the field approaches, they're going to find a little bit of a surprise as they make their way there. Last time by there, that car was much up higher on the racetrack. See what the driver determines he can do here. Don't know if he made much contact with the outside wall, and the car appears to be running just fine, so he may choose to stick around. Take a spot beside Skylar Douglas's car 14. It's the only vacancy now as the light has been turned out, and Charneski thinking about what Lennox has in mind. We're going green. Parsons in the 12 will duck down low and now challenge Lennox. Parsons trying to get to third and stay there. Put Rayburn back a spot if he can. That's also the motivation for the 99J of Treb Jacoby. as Jacoby will come up and try to take fourth spot away, and does. Now Rayburn uses the low side. White flag is coming out for your race leader, Cole Charneski. Jimmy Lennox trying to hang on to get his ticket punched into tonight's 30-lap A main. There's the checkered flag, and the race ends with Charneski winning and Jimmy Lennox picking up second spot. Fast-paced action for heat race number 3. Moving on, Cole Charneski, your winner, and second place, Jimmy Lennox. More cars to come out to compete for the 8-lap heat races for heat race number 4 at East Bay Raceway Park. Field begins to move behind the East Bay Raceway Park pace truck for this, the 4th heat of tonight's competition. On the pole, it's going to be the car of Rodney Wing, the 33W in victory lane on Monday night. He'll be joined by the 6-time defending champion of East Bay Raceway Park, Brian Bernhardt. Bernhardt back after his first appearance on Monday. Second row inside, Alan Weiser finished 14th in the A-main last night. He'll be joined by the 9A of Austin O'Dell. Row 3 with the 81 of Jeremy Owens and the 00 of Jamie Layton. Jason Cox in the 77. Outside of him, Thomas Sigler's 19A and the 87Z of George Zeman. That's the field. Yellow light comes on as the officials did not like the start. There was some movement. It was supposed to be nose to tail, completely behind the car in front of you. And there was some movement on back in the field that got the attention of race control. And that brought about the yellow flag. So we'll line them up and get a chance to get heat race number 4 back underway. Lineup stays the same. 9 cars to go 8 laps, 2 spots on the line. Looks like a better start so far. Not for Thomas Sigler, however. Thomas Sigler, who did not qualify, finds himself in the infield. The car 77C of Jason Cox having some problems. He may duck into the infield. Rodney Wing will lead the way through lap 1. Brian Bernhardt second, Alan Weiser in third. Bernhardt and Wing separated by less than 0.02 of a second in their qualifying run, and Bernhardt went to the high side. Now we'll go to the middle low side. His track experience could come in handy right here as he can figure out where it's going to go. Rodney Wing, meanwhile, he is no slouch at being experienced. Bernhardt to the bottom, slide job in the lead. Bernhardt takes command in this one. Halfway mark through it, Brian Bernhardt in the B69 and the 33W of Rodney Wing. Trouble turn two cars involved in a mishap. It's the oh no of Jamie Layton, and also moving away the 87Z of George Zeman. So those two cars, after their little dance in turn two, able to get away and will chase the back of the field. Kind of break that Alan Weiser was kind of hoping for there, as the front two were starting to get away from him. Now Weiser will line up on the outside of the 33W of Rodney Wing. Field quickly organized as the last two cars do catch the tail, and we're back to green flag racing. Alan Weiser from the top side, wheel to wheel with the 33W of Rodney Wing. That's a battle for that final transfer spot. Weiser with momentum, the A-Dog coming on. Wing not going to give him anything down low. He's going to have to earn it. Wing's got an opportunity now to come back, but Weiser by a length with 2 laps left in this one. As they come by for that, they'll see the signal. 2 to go. Here's that challenge for second once again. Wing did not go quietly this time. It's only a half a length lead for the 25W. White flag shows. It's time to take the chances that you need. Can Wing make the car work? Weiser with a perfect line that time through 1 and 2. No opportunities given to the third place driver. Checkered flag for Brian Bernhardt. Second will be Alan Weiser, car 25W. So Rodney Wing again finds himself headed to a B feature after his visit to Victory Lane on Monday night. Second place, good run for Alan Weiser. Brings the 25W into a transfer spot. Tonight's winner, Brian Bernhardt in the B69. Our next heat race is lining up, and we'll have that for you in minutes at East Bay Raceway Park. Safety crews going to the assistance of the 19A of Thomas Sigler, and that will now be cleared to allow our 5th of 8 heat events onto the track. On the pole, the car 8A, two-time feature winner Austin Holcomb. Outside of him in the car number 33, that'll be Jeff Matthews. Row 2 to the inside, good starting spot for Damian Kiefer in car 0, and Ryan Gerke, 10th place finisher last night in the A, starts the 26G there. In the inside, 7th place finisher Maverick Varnador in the car 14 with the car 37 outside Devin Wright. Row 4 has the 14 of Rick Connier, and the 23 of Scott Bain is not in the grid. Jason Garver, Monday night feature winner, will move up and take his position on the outside of row 4. Holcomb last night 4th place, Maverick Varnador 7th, Jason Garver 18th, Ryan Gerke 10th. Two of the drivers in the field are going to make it on. May not be the same two from last night, and green flag is out. Holcomb establishes himself up front. And moving through on the bottom to take second is going to be the charge of Damian Kiefer. Damian Kiefer getting some clear racetrack. Gerke back to doing his thing up on the outside in that 26G. That'll be a battle for third between Matthews in the 33 and the 26G of Ryan Gerke. Damian Kiefer staying right with Austin Holcomb. Whoa! Heavily into the back of the 33 goes the 26G. Took him along for a ride, that was for sure. Garver trying to get back up and through this. Top two cars breaking away with the leader, Austin Holcomb. Second is Damian Kiefer. Two to go this time for Austin Holcomb. Spin, turn 4, Jason Garver gets around and contact with Rick Connier as the caution flag will wave for the spin for the 27G of Jason Garver. Connier's 14C having to come up to get into the field here. It stays under caution. Damian Kiefer with an impressive run to get up to second, just has to hold it on for another couple of laps. As now apparently Devin Wright in car 37 having some issues, and he's going to try to see if he can keep going in this one. He'll have to hustle to catch the field. Gets the momentum and now has to back off a little bit, other than try not to jump the start. Green flag is out. And Gerke renews his challenge up top, and this time it's Kiefer who's in his sights. Kiefer holds his line down on the bottom, keeps it going strong here. They come to the white flag It's still Austin Holcomb, Damian Kiefer, Ryan Gerke. Gerke abandons the top, goes to the middle. It may be too late, as the checkered flag is the next thing they're going to see. And who's going to see it first? Austin Holcomb. Second to Damian Kiefer. So a new name going into the A-Main here tonight in the person of Damian Kiefer in car 0, but two-time feature winner Austin Holcomb finished 4th last night. He's got his ticket punched for the A-Main. That 30-lap A-Main coming up later on. A lot more racing between now and then. We'll come back with our next heat event in just a moment. Field set to go for this 6th of 8 heat events for tonight's racing action. On the pole, the 09 of Michael Leach. Outside of him, last night's feature winner, Lucas Lee. Second row has the 24 of Zeke McKenzie with the 82 of Gary Dillon. Row 3, 20th place finisher last night, Dave Baldwin in the 6B. Tim McCafferty in the 64M starts in the 6th spot. 7th starting spot, Kevin DeYoung in the 4 Sale. The 25 of Josh Lomal starts in the 8th position. 9th will be the non-qualified Tim Gay, car 90. 8 laps, and there it is. Lucas Lee will take the early advantage while we have the car 09 of Michael Leach running 2nd. Gary Dillon up to 3rd in car 82, and Zeke McKenzie with him in 24. McKenzie makes his way up the racetrack, taps the left front of the 82. Front 2 cars break away from this one. We have a 2-car battle, a 3-car battle, and a 4-car battle. Now Baldwin sneaks by Dillon's 82. Lee moving it out to a 4-car length advantage over the 09 of Michael Leach. 4 in the books. McKenzie had to get the car back under control. It was starting to go loose on him out of the exit of turn 3. Now there's a problem on that 24. That car will slow in turn 2, and that's going to bring out the caution flag, as Zeke McKenzie gave us an indication that there was something amiss when he was over in turn 3. He managed to get the car going once again, but by the time he got to turn 1, it wasn't going to go anywhere, and he knew it. So he put it up on the high side out of harm's way and brings out the caution with 4 unofficially up on the scoreboard. Safety crews will find their way down to the 24. It's been a good week and a not so good week for the 24 of Zeke McKenzie. McKenzie started off with a moderate show on Monday night, then did not start on Tuesday. When Wednesday rolled around, he did not qualify. And then as he came on the racetrack and he wasn't there, we thought he was done. Showed up in the B feature, lined up at the back, ended up finishing 2nd in his B feature to move on into the A feature last night and come back with a 21st place run. If he's going to go to the A feature tonight, he's going to have to do it through the B feature, it looks like, because it appears his race is over 4 laps into it. And 8 cars still race on the track to see how heat race number 6 is going to turn out. At the head of the field, he's picked up 2 wins in the 2024 Winter Nationals, and that is Lucas Lee. Michael Leach, probably the long toe, coming all the way from Montana to be a part of this one. He's been impressive while he's been here. The 6B of Dave Baldwin, a traditional site at the East Bay Raceway Park Winter Nationals. Gary Dillon's brightly colored 82 car. You've got part of the DeYoung contingent with Kevin's car for sale. Price right there on it. And the incident scene has been cleared. The lights have been turned out. That means we are looking at the opportunity to get started for the conclusion of heat race number 6. Lucas Lee keeps it up top. Michael Leach knows to go now. Lee guarding against the Baldwin car. Baldwin, meanwhile, has to do a little bit protecting himself. Dillon had a shot 3 wide down the back straightaway. Tim Gay to the inside with Lomaw and DeYoung. For Lucas Lee, again, about a 3-car length advantage. They'll see a pair of flags, meaning 2 to go next time by. Leach closed the gap in turn 2. Now problem 1 car nearly around. Keeps going. Lomaw in the 25. White flag for Lee. White flag for Leach. Leach just going to hit his marks and stay where he needs to be, as 2 drivers from the A main are back home in that A main again. 30 laps tonight. Checkered flag for your winner, Lucas Lee, and second place, Michael Leach. Spin over in turn 3 after the fact. Leaders on the cool-down lap are going to be the first to see that incident, and they'll make their way past there safely. So Michael Leach, who finished 2nd last night, is back, or finished 6th last night, is back, finishing 2nd in this heat race, finishing 1st in the heat race. Last night's feature winner going on to the A main from heat race 6, Lucas Lee. 2 more heat races to go at East Bay Raceway Park. Quick check of the field to see how many are going to be out there for this heat race number 7, scheduled to have 8 cars on the racetrack, and that's exactly how many we have. Ben Harmon, fastest qualifier of the bunch. He'll have the 1H lined up on the pole. Outside of him, Brian Skaggs in car 20, finished 11th in the A last night. Seth Daniels at S21 goes to the inside of Joseph Thomas in the 6ST. Row 3 has Austin Self in the 23Z and the 05 of Dave Wheatholder. Final row with the car number 15K of Chris Kittle and the 8S of Kyle Strickler. Strickler last night in the A main finished in the 16th position. 8 cars, 8 laps. See what they can do with this. This is heat race number 7. Lucky number 7, perhaps. We'll soon find out, as Harmon has the responsibility of going green. It'll be Brian Skaggs down the back straightaway with the lead in the 20. Harmon runs second. Third is Seth Daniels in the 21. Now Kyle Strickler tries to make his way through. We're 3 wide off turn 2. Strickler on the bottom, Self in the middle. Here's an opportunity for Seth Daniels now as he'll look to the bottom to get second away from Ben Harmon. Daniels has a run, and now Strickler trying to decide who he wants to follow because those guys have the way blocked. That is beneficial for the car 20 of Brian Skaggs. Meanwhile, it's the 21 in second spot, the S21 of Seth Daniels. Strickler trying to get around the 1 of Ben Harmon. He'll have to swing to the bottom if he wants to do that. Field seeing the halfway mark this time by. Slider up to third for the 8 of Kyle Strickler. Seth Daniels about to have his hands full right here as Daniels has that final transfer spot from this group. And Strickler a man on a mission from the 8th starting spot. Looking for second. Doesn't have it yet. They'll be back to complete lap 6. But meanwhile, Kyle Strickler doesn't wait. He goes into the second spot in turn 2. Your race leader is Brian Skaggs. Skaggs managed to build up a pretty good margin while everybody was battling for the second spot. He's running steady runs. Strickler's coming after him. Just a pair of laps remaining, though. May run out of time. White flag for Skaggs. Both of these drivers in the 1 and 2 spot were in last night's A-Main. And they're going back. It's Brian Skaggs in the 20 and Kyle Strickler in 8S. Moving on from heat number 7. Congratulations, Kyle Strickler. Run from 8th place up to 2nd. Moves him into the A-Main. And your heat race winner is Brian Skaggs in the car number 20 out of the Ironton, Ohio area. One more heat race yet to come with 2 more spots still open. It'll complete heats here at East Bay Raceway Park. Two more spots remain to be filled in the A feature. And no one in this particular heat made an appearance last night. So those 2 spots will be filled by racers making their first A feature after the format change yesterday. On the pole, the 205 of Travis Barnador outside the 3F of Rob Fuquay. The 77 of Ray Bollinger with the 8C of Corey Bavard. You've got Brandon Hutchinson starting inside row number 3 with the A85, and Todd Nieheiser outside in 72. Rounding out the field, it'll be the 11 of Tyler Morehouse and the 333 of Wade Rookard. Who's going to go to the A-Main from this heat event? Travis Varnador will take the early lead. Rob Fuquay second, Ray Bollinger third. Moving up on the inside, Hutchinson challenging Nieheiser. 3 wide on back in the field. Watching Hutchinson battling with the 72 of Todd Nieheiser. As your race leader is Travis Varnador. Fuquay in the 3F. Fellow Illinois racer Ray Bollinger trying to get to him, not gaining much ground. Quickly to the halfway mark, Travis Varnador in the 205, the 3F of Rob Fuquay, and the 77 now starts to reel in that car in second. Running identical lines, so the 77 needs a little bit of speed to get up there close enough to make a difference. Look out, spin, second place car spins. The 3F goes around. Bollinger makes contact, but does manage to get back to the stripe here. So the 3F, while running in the final transfer spot at the halfway mark, something went amiss, and that car turned in the wrong direction. Fortunately, the 77 able to slip past and get right up in it. So tough break for the 3F, as it looked like things might go a little more positively in his direction here tonight. Another one of these drivers that is a consistent visitor to East Bay during the WinterNationals. After some assistance, he is now good to go. And will take his spot back in the row by himself. 4 laps completed. Travis Varnador leading the way. The 77 now elevated to second spot. It's Todd Nieheiser, who likes the outside, may make that work for him to try to get to second. Green flag shows. Pretty even battle for second place down the back straightaway. See who's going to prevail as they come by to complete lap 5. Bollinger with the advantage. And again, it's all about hitting your marks, choosing your line. 2 to go for Travis Varnador. The 72 abandons the top. And that could end up costing him third place now as Hutchinson pulls up. White flag for your race leader. We will not see these two drivers again until the A main. It's Travis Varnador and Ray Bollinger on their way to the 30-lap feature event. So congratulations, Ray Bollinger and Travis Varnador, rounding out the field of cars who are making it in by way of the heat. That means 16 spots have been filled up. There are 8 to be still filled up, and they'll be filled up through the 4 B mains. The first of our B mains coming right up with more action here at East Bay Raceway Park.